Hey everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another gamer video podcast. I want to apologize for any odd noises you may hear during this episode because my landlord is downstairs working on the apartment below us, and he's been doing it all day, and so I just can't wait any longer, so I'm just going to do it anyway. And if you hear some banging, drilling, sawing, etc., nothing to worry about. We got a lot to talk about this week, so let's just jump right in. First off, quick movie review. I actually went to see Dumbo, which I am morally opposed to the Disney live-action remakes. I don't understand it. The cartoons are fine, and they seem to feel that no one wants to watch actual cell animation anymore, so let's do them again in CGI, with some live-action actors where appropriate. So, I did not care for Beauty and the Beast because it was a scene-for-scene remake. And I just felt like, no, the cartoon has way more personality, so don't care for it. But I figured with Dumbo, it can't be a scene-for-scene remake because the original cartoon is only an hour long. So they gotta expand. So this one does have a much different plot. However, the plot is sort of... It's not bad. Like, I actually enjoyed the movie. I found it entertaining. It was just sort of, it was good. It was just above average. It was good. Like, I wouldn't say, oh my god, run out and see it, it's so amazing. It was fine. Like, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, so I think it's better than it is, because I was expecting it to be so much worse. If that makes any sense? But I figured I'd go see it because with my AMC A-list, it doesn't cost me anything out of my own pocket, and I like to see a movie every weekend if possible, because, you know, there's a lot of movies to see, and why not? Plus, I can see it in 3D, and the 3D was actually really good, because I was slightly disappointed. It's a Tim Burton movie, but there's nothing really Tim Burton-y about it. It's very, like, standard. The Nightmare Island section later in the movie, that's very Tim Burton-y. But more often than not, it was just sort of there. But he does do a good job of using the 3D, lots of stuff moving in and out of the screen, and it's very dynamic, and that was really good. But I also have to say that the CGI Dumbo does not bode well for the Lion King live-action remake, because they're all going to be computer-generated animals, and the problem is that Dumbo has like big eyes so that he can be a little more expressive and have some personality, but it's still slightly unsettling because he still looks very realistic, aside from the giant ears and eyes, so it's sort of cartoony but realistic, and it's this weird, not quite either one or the other. But like the whole baby mine scene where he goes to see his mother, it doesn't work because in this version, he has a little bit of personality, but Mrs. Jumbo looks like an actual elephant. So there's no acting or personality to her face. She's just an elephant. And they don't do anything to, you know, like in the original, where it's like super sad because they have like big expressive eyes and they're animated and they're moving and they show personality. Here it's just a realistic looking elephant. So the Lion King is going to be really weird because they're all going to look like realistic animals, and I just feel like that's going to be very unsettling. Dumbo occasionally looked slightly cute, but it was a little unsettling. And when they put him in the clown makeup, no go, no bueno. That was creepy. But it also amused me that the villain of the movie, it's basically this small town circus buys an elephant that gives birth to Dumbo, and they're like, oh hell, what are we going to do? But then they learn it can fly, and that's amazing. But then this big entertainment personality developer person comes in, and he's like, hey, I want to buy up your circus and make you a partner, and you can come and do your show at my, like, Coney Island amusement park. And He's basically Walt Disney. Like, it amuses me to no end that Disney greenlit this movie and produced this movie where the bad guy, played by Michael Keaton, is essentially evil Walt Disney. So props for that one, Tim Burton. But I can't necessarily recommend it. It's okay if you get a matinee price, maybe. But the 3D is great, so if you like 3D, definitely go see it in 3D, because I don't know if you're going to be able to see it on home video 3D, but it's worth it for the 3D, because the 3D visuals were terrific. Anyway, as for gaming, I'm sure that you all know what I'm super excited about this week, and that is the latest announcement from Hello Games regarding No Man's Sky Beyond. This is a free update coming to No Man's Sky this summer, with 3 parts to it. The first part is some new multiplayer thing. I didn't even read that much about it, because I was like, multiplayer, who cares? But then the second part that they announced this past week, virtual reality. So, super excited about that, because ever since I started playing No Man's Sky, I was like, oh my god, why isn't this on PSVR? It would be so amazing in PSVR. It would be like real space exploration, and oh my god, I would never come out. Like, goodbye real world. I'm just gonna... So, when they announced, finally, that No Man's Sky is gonna be in VR, I was super excited! So, I don't even care what the third part of this update is. It doesn't even matter, because for me, it's all about the VR. And I know that they were talking about how there's going to be VR controls where you can like reach into your backpack and you're going to use the flight sticks to control the ship, and I'm just like, that's all well and good for immersion, but in this case, I think the 3D VR visuals are going to be immersion enough, and I would rather use my actual controller to fly ships and shoot the weapons and stuff. That's just my thing. I might give it a shot with the other controls, but I don't think I'm going to enjoy it that much, and I'm going to go right back to the controller. That's just my prediction. We'll see what happens this summer, and we'll find out if I'm a liar or not. But I'm super excited, and very much looking forward to that. I haven't played No Man's Sky in months and months and months because I was exploring the Old West, and now I'm exploring ancient Greece. So I am going to have to get back into No Man's Sky before this update, just so I can refresh myself and get back into the groove before I get into the virtual reality of space. That's, I don't know. They haven't even given it a date for the update, so, and they haven't announced the third part yet, so I'm like, I got a ways to go. The other interesting VR news this week was Harmonix is releasing Dance Central VR, which is unusual, I have to say. I was surprised. As a big Dance Central fan, I was excited to see the series continue in any form, but I do feel like it's a slight step back for the series, because the whole point, and the reason that I loved Dance Central, is because it used the Kinect camera for full-body motion tracking. So it was a step up from Just Dance, like on the PlayStation, where you're using the Move controllers and it's tracking the Move controllers and that's it. Or even worse, on the Wii, where you're just wiggling the Wii remote around, and then it's like, you can just sit on the couch and go like this and still get points. So I'm like, eh. So I loved that Dance Central forced you to actually dance your whole body into it, you know? You just get all in. So with this, you're wearing a VR headset and you're using the controllers to jump up and down and, you know, pose and, you know, do what you gotta do with the arms, and the legs, you're just moving them to you know, to do it, and I guess to jump up and down, but it's more about the arms. So, less excited. Also, not that excited, because so far it's only coming to the Oculus, and I think the HTC Vive. So, if they bring it to the PSVR, I'll probably get it, because I have no willpower, and I would like to support my favorite series of dance game. One of my favorite series of video games of all time. So I will certainly buy it if it comes to the PSVR. And yes, I will stand around in my living room like a dork wearing my VR headset and wiggling the stupid ice cream cones around. But I don't know how comfortable it'll be. The Oculus Rift headset is it looks a little smaller and lighter. the PSVR is kind of a big clunky helmet, and I don't know how comfortable that'll be to jump around and dance in. But I also was inspired to fire up and dust off and fire up my old Xbox One just to play a little Dance Central, because I took the Kinect and I kind of... This apartment has a good space, like off to the left of this couch. There's a nice big open area, so I can be at an angle to the TV, and I can just sort of prop the Kinect up in front of the TV and just sort of angle it off to the side, and I can stand there, and there's lots of nice room to dance in. Of course, there's the whole, waiting for your song library to load that takes like 5 to 10 minutes. It's super fun. Gets you right into the game. And they never fixed it, and now they never will, because obviously they're not supporting that game anymore. But they never fixed it when they were supporting it. So I'd like to play my 360 version, because in the bedroom, hooked up to that TV, my 360, the bedroom is carpeted. It's nice. It'd be better on my feet. About the same amount of space to dance in, but it's nice and carpeted, and I would also not have to put up with the loading screen every time that I wanted to play it. But unfortunately, I don't actually have my 360 Kinect anymore. I loaned it to a friend who wanted to try it out, and I have not gotten it back yet, so I may have to ask for it back soon, so that I can play that instead. But I just wanted to give Dance Central a try again, because I haven't played it in ages, and you can tell because the very next day, I played literally 3 songs. The next day, my back was so sore. I was using muscles that I haven't used in forever. So I was like, okay, we're going to have to stretch again the next time I play this. But I miss Dance Central. Also in gaming, I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. If you might recall from last episode, I found the whole thing kind of confusing. There wasn't much of a tutorial, but I did eventually figure it out and get into it, because games need tutorials now, because they don't have instruction books anymore. They don't do those. So you need a good in-game tutorial to teach me the controls and the gameplay. And the controls are whatever. People complained about the Red Dead Redemption controls being too complicated. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I think, is worse. I think it's so much more complicated. And not just because every time I go to get on my horse and I press the triangle button, I try to get off my horse by pressing the triangle button, just like in Red Dead. But you have to press the circle button to get off. But you don't just press it, you have to hold it to get off. So you don't accidentally get off, I guess? I don't know. So that's just my mental block. I'll get used to it eventually. I already am. But the fact that as I've been leveling up and learning new abilities, I have found that there's certain ones that are passive abilities that just boost your ability, that boost your skills and whatever, but then there's certain special attacks that you have, and you have to press the L1 or L2 trigger and then press a face button. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't remember. That's a lot to remember, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle it. I'm already struggling with it. Because I'm trying to assassinate as many people as I can, or hit them from afar with arrows, because any time that I have to physically get into one-on-one combat with somebody, I struggle. I'm not good at it. No. I'm not good at it. I'm terrible. And I get beat down, and I barely get out of it alive. Especially if I'm fighting one of the mercenaries who are super tough. Those are a pain in the ass. And one of the things that really irked me was, as I was playing, I set difficulty to normal, because, I always play on normal. And then there's another level of difficulty which involves the game leveling up with you, and I left that on default, because I figured, whatever, normal and default, it's fine. The problem is that with default, the game levels up with you. So I was like, oh, I can't handle that mercenary yet because he's level 5 and I'm only level 3. Let me wait. When I got to be level 5, I said, oh, now I could try to fight him. But I was in the middle of something else, and then I leveled up to 6. So then I was like, well, let me go get him now, because I'm 6, he's 5, that should be much easier. And he had leveled up to 6. So, and the thing is, so it was a tough fight, and those mercenaries are a bitch, and I suck at them. And I eventually kill them, but it takes me a few tries. And the thing is that not only are the enemies leveling up with you, so are the animals, and there are a lot of frickin' wolves in ancient Greece, apparently. I did not know this, but, like, literally everywhere you go, you're attacked by wolves. And those wolves are the same level as you, so they are not easy to just smite quickly, you know? And I'm like, what the hell is this? Because, for me, if you're going to have RPG-style leveling, the world should not level up with you. That's why I hated Oblivion. I loved Morrowind, it was brilliant and wonderful. Then I played Oblivion, and I didn't last long at all, because the world leveled up with me, and I would, like, leave a dungeon that I barely survived, and get attacked by, like, a wolf or a rat, and they would kill me, because they'd be super powerful, because they would be at my level. And I'm like, the whole point of an RPG is that if you're having trouble with something, you can go and level up, then come back, and it's easier. So, when the enemies are leveling up with you, that doesn't work for me. Like, I get it that you want to keep the game challenging, but no, not for me. Like, I want to be able to level up above the enemies to make it a little easier on me, who does not have the greatest combat skills with my reflexes on the buttons. And I'm glad I didn't try to play this game when it first came out, because apparently they only offered the adjustment to the leveling difficulty as a patch later on. So I was very grateful to go in, and I actually tweaked it. There's one above default, which like makes it even harder, which no. But more power to any of you who want to play it that way. I lowered it one below default, where people can be like 2 levels below you. But they'll never be anything less than 2 levels below you. However, I am thinking I might need to lower it to the lowest level, because as I'm still playing this, and I'm now like level 9, I'm noticing that the main enemies that I'm fighting are still my level. And then the occasional random wolf that I encounter is also my level. And I'm like, I thought I would level up above those things, and the enemies would stay at that level so that I could level up and then go get them when it would be easier for me. So that's sort of, I'm not crazy about this. So if you've played Assassin's Creed Odyssey, let me know your recommendation for the leveling slider, because I still don't think I found the sweet spot. And it's super irritating, because I want to be able to level up so that I can make the game easier. That's the whole point. Because if you're gonna offer levels, that's what you need to do. Otherwise, just say, no levels, you just increase your skills by getting better weapons and armor. Which they also do in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And I get all kinds of new weapon and armor, and I actually went to the blacksmith once and, like, engraved a couple of things to increase their power, but just the once, because I don't want to waste my money and supplies engraving things to increase their power, because the next quest that I do, I'm gonna get a new breastplate or a new boot and a new bow, and that will be obsolete, and I will have wasted my money and time. And what is the point, you know? So, like, it just keeps throwing new equipment at you, like, constantly. So I don't really get the point of the engraving yet. I'm sure maybe later on, you'll get some weapons that you're going to use for, it'll take longer to level up, so, like, you'll have weapons for longer, and then you'll want to engrave them, because that will actually last longer, and it might be more useful. The other thing that I'm having a problem with is, after I finish the introductory island and I move to the next area, big space, I'm now, you know, I'm a mercenary, so I'm going to help the Spartans defeat the Athenians. I'm sure that at some point in the game I'm going to have to make a choice between the two, or I'm just going to continue to play both sides against the middle. I don't know yet. Right now, I'm working for the Spartans, killing off a bunch of Athenians. The problem is that I accidentally killed a bunch of Athenians in the beginning, or a bunch of Spartans, I mean, until I realized, oh, okay, the Athenians are in the blue and the Spartans are in the red. Okay, fine. But then I was exploring and I found a ruined temple and was ambushed and attacked by a bunch of guys who looked like Spartans, and I'm like, why are you attacking me? And then I'm like, oh, unless those are bandits who just happen to be wearing like Spartan helmets and stuff. And I'm like, how am I supposed to tell the difference between Spartan soldiers and bandits? Because they're not Like, I get the red and I get the blue. That's fine, but if the bandits are going to look like the Spartans, that I'm going to be like, wait, do I kill you? Or are you a Spartan soldier that I'm not supposed to kill right now? I don't know. And then I end up just killing people because you attack me, I'm going to defend myself and kill you. If I can. Although not usually, because I usually run away because, like I said, not good in direct combat. I've got to sneak from the bushes or from above and kill you later, secretly and quietly. So that whole political thing with the warring factions and trying to, like, negotiate all that and make sure I'm killing the right people, that's getting a little complicated for me right now. But just like last week to this week, I'm sure by next episode I'll have worked all that out and I'll have some other problem with it. Which is weird, because I know I sound like I'm complaining about it, but I am actually still enjoying the game, for now. We'll see, because I do worry with that leveling system that it's going to just get to a point where I won't be able to finish the game because it's just going to get too hard. But we'll see. So again, reminder, listeners, watchers, if you've played the game and you have recommendations, suggestions, advice, please put it in the comments. I'll appreciate it a great deal. Thank you so much. Bye!